The Miami Heat did the impossible. They got substantially better at the NBA trade deadline after trading their biggest name. I'm here to break down how and why on this episode of Heat Digest. But first, before we get to the news and information, remember, if you're a part of the 85.5% currently watching this video, not currently subscribed to the channel, please scroll down, click the subscribe button. We do appreciate all the love and support, so thank you guys. But now let's get to it and break down how Miami legitimately got better this NBA trade deadline. Now, you've heard me say in the past on this channel, I hate the idea of trading players in the middle of the season, particularly star players, and in this case, Jimmy Butler. Obviously, it got to the point where things had to be done. Jimmy Butler, in the disrespect going towards this Miami Heat organization overall, was just to the point where there was no return from it, it felt like. And because of that, we had to move the disgruntled All-Star in the middle of the season before February 6th at 3 p.m. when the NBA trade deadline did expire. Now, we did do that, as we all know, as Jimmy Butler now is a part of the Golden State Warriors with Steph Curry, Steve Kerr, and Draymond Green. But now, in addition, or in response to getting rid of Jimmy Butler, we, as the Miami Heat organization, have acquired these pieces. And a shout out to Heat Culture 13 on Twitter for posting this in a visual pleasing way, so I don't have to have 900 tweets to break down all of the different additions. Because again, it wasn't just the one trade, Jimmy Butler to Golden State, and then all of the moving parts back. Again, once we acquired PJ Tucker, before he even landed in Miami, he was then traded to Toronto for De'Vion Mitchell. So again, Andrew Wiggins, De'Vion Mitchell, Kyle Anderson, a first-round pick, top 10 protected, all returned to Miami in exchange for one piece that we gave up in Jimmy Butler, who again landed in Golden State. Now, you may be thinking, Houston, how did we get better? How are these three players plus a draft pick better than Jimmy Butler? Well, if we look at it plain and simple, this past season, Jimmy Butler barely played. And when he did play, he didn't want to be there. There was a handful of games, and when I say handful, I mean literally 3 to 5 games this season where Jimmy Butler actively gave us Jimmy Butler numbers, if not a little bit more than that. And besides that, the joy wasn't there, simply. And that is an actual quote from Jimmy Butler. He was not happy in Miami. It was clear as day in the huddle, on the bench, in pregame warm-ups, in the introductions, pregame introductions, on the floor in the middle of the game. The effort was down. The overall statistical production was way down. Nothing was really coming from Jimmy Butler. So again, that is part of the improvement. But also, notice the players that we did go out and get. Now, there's a lot of depth. We'll get back to that in just a second. But also the defensive capabilities of all of the guys we went out and got. We start with Andrew Wiggins. He's 6'7", 200 pounds, but also he's been in the league for 10 years. He was a substantial piece to a NBA championship back in 2022 for this Golden State Warriors team when they beat the Boston Celtics 4-2 again in 2022. And again, Andrew Wiggins was obviously not Steph Curry. He was not the Finals MVP. He was not 30, 15, and 10. That's not what I'm saying. But again, being that he's Andrew Wiggins with the athletic ability that he does maintain, while also being 6'7", with a very lengthy frame, he has the ability to be a great defender, which we have seen for 10 years now in his NBA career. Obviously, he's not the heaviest and stockiest guy in the world, but again, out on the perimeter, he has a legitimate shot to be a lockdown defender, especially on a team, a part of an organization in Miami. Again, I think he's only going to get better, and I think we're going to get as much as we possibly can out of this very, very young and very a young player with a lot of upside, I'll say, in Andrew Wiggins. But then it doesn't end there. We move on to Kyle Anderson. And again, this guy might be Anderson might be the one who plays the absolute least out of the three names we're going to go through. But again, Kyle Anderson also along the same lines as Andrew Wiggins. A little bit taller at 6'9" compared to Wiggins at 6'7". Has a little bit more weight on him at 230. But again, he is substantially lengthy. He has the ability to be an elite wing defender as well as a great rebounder, something that Wiggins is also very good at. In 2022, he had multiple games with 12-plus rebounds in that NBA championship against the Boston Celtics, being a substantial piece. You know how I feel about rebounding on this channel. It's something that I think that you live and die by. I know there's a lot of conversations. You live and die by the three. But guess what? If you miss those threes and you can get the offensive rebound and you get another opportunity, guess what? you're going to have a better chance to score because, again, you have more opportunity. If you can rebound the basketball, you are going to win basketball games. Kyle Anderson, Andrew Wiggins, not only do they bring massive defensive improvements, but also the ability to rebound the basketball at a high level is going to be greatly appreciated, and you will notice it firsthand when we are winning the rebounding battle against these teams, and all of a sudden, we're not giving up a bunch of second chance points. We're not giving up a bunch of offensive rebounds, allowing teams to make runs, stay in ball games, and really, if not pull away with leads because of our inability to rebound the basketball. And it doesn't end there. Or the third and final name we're going to bring up, who I just ranted about in the last video of Heat Digest because I absolutely love this addition for the Miami Heat. Davion Mitchell is going to be special, and I'm not saying that because now he's a part of the Miami Heat. If you go back and you look when he was drafted by the Sacramento Kings, yes, his best year was in his rookie year, and the numbers weren't even great at that point. But again, the next 3 years, and the third one being this current year, something has stayed consistent about this young man. His ability to play defense at the highest level available is substantial, and it's going to be a problem night in and night out. And I will say, again, he is self-proclaimed the best defender in the league right now. Again, that is self-proclaimed by Davion Mitchell himself, but also he gave himself the nickname Off Night because of how defensive-minded and how much defense really matters to him and how substantial it really plays a part in his game night in and night out. Again, we mentioned it in the last episode of Heat Digest. If you have not seen it, we broke down the entirety of Davion Mitchell and really what we're getting from him. Again, I'm going to do the same thing very briefly now, but again, the idea is the offensive bag is there. It's not great. It's not Kevin Durant size, but again, he has the ability to facilitate the basketball, handle it at an elite level because of his size and his quickness due to really his stature at 6'2", and 205 pounds. Again, he's not going to get pushed around, but he still has the ability to move down the floor very, very quickly. And again, the ability to facilitate, knock down the open three-point shot, which is going to be required in today's day and age in the NBA, as well as on this Heat team who shoots a decent amount of three-point shots. I really, really love the three additions here. Obviously, all of them being defensive-minded with great defensive capabilities, but also we can get into some of the stats. Again, we referenced these guys in the last video. Again, breaking down Davion Mitchell. B-Ball Index on Twitter. They are fantastic. They put out great content that is analytical based, and again, they do a great job. Again, the videos below break down really how they're bringing in all these stats and how they're bringing us these lists and really what information they're putting into it to get this information. But again, if you notice this list, Davion Mitchell, the number 4 in top 10 perimeter isolation defense, as well as Andrew Wiggins at number 8. These guys are legitimate defenders. Not only do they have the length and the overall size and the visual sense that when you look at them, you go, that guy could be a very, very good defender. But when you watch the tape, when you go back and watch these guys play basketball, not only this season, but for their careers, obviously some being longer than others, they have been great defensive-minded players with the ability to add a bit offensively. Obviously, Wiggins, a decent offensive player. Again, not Kevin Durant. They did get a lot of fame coming out of high school and college because it looked like he was going to be the next Michael Jordan. That did not end up playing out, offensively at least. But defensively, he does have a lot of upsides. And again, he still has room to grow as, again, he's now in his 10th year. Davion Mitchell is in his third year. And then obviously Kyle Anderson is, how long has Kyle Anderson been in the league? He has been in the league for 689 games. That's a long time. He's been in the league for a long time. It looks like he was drafted in 2014. So he's going into his 11th, or experience, 10 years. So he's playing in his 11th year. Again, experience is going to be key. The ability to play defense is going to carry for all three of these guys. And the other thing I'm going to reference from B-Ball Index on Twitter, again, if you don't know who they are, go check them out. They have great content if you love the analytics side of basketball. And again, we didn't see Kyle Anderson on that last list. We do on this one for top 10 helpers in D. LeBron. Again, D. LeBron, I'm not going to sit here and break it down. They have clips underneath these lists breaking down how they break down all of these lists and what stats they bring in to really produce these lists and all this content. And it seems, again, it's very accurate. I love all of this information. I think it's going to be substantial for this Miami Heat team. Three very, very defensive-minded players that have great capabilities to do a lot, as well as unlock a little bit of their offensive game, because with great defense comes quick offense, and we're going to ability to cause traps, cause loose balls, cause steals, blocking shots at the rim, and getting out in transition and running with the basketball, something Devion Mitchell, as well as others on this Miami Heat team, like Bam, like Khalil Ware, Tyler Hero, the ability to throw the lob to Khalil Ware. Obviously, Devion Mitchell is going to feast off of that, obviously pushing it in transition and not having to rely on half-court offense. I think this is a great improvement from this Miami Heat team, not only overall, but specifically defensively. And again, on the rebounding side of things, the battle of the boards should greatly shift towards this Miami Heat team going forward. And again, that was something we substantially struggled with up to this point in the year, and particularly last season before we had the rookie in Khalil Ware. Now we went back and got them even more help on the boards as well as defensively. I couldn't love this anymore. Let me know down below what you guys think about this acquisition overall, all three of the pieces, as well as the top 10 or protected draft pick that we have coming as well, in exchange for the disgruntled All-Star who was not doing much for this Miami Heat team. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you on the next one.